Good morning and welcome to Daybreaklive, where Nigeria wakes up to the stories shaping power, policy, and the people. I'm Oluwayemi Adelako, and as always, we begin with the political current setting the tone for the day.
And I am Samson Balogun. This morning, the battle lines in Nigeria's political landscape appears to be sharpening. The opposition PDP is accusing the National Assembly of betraying Nigerians over the Electoral Act, a change that raises fresh questions about the integrity of our democracy and the rules guiding our elections.
And as the dust of the 2023 political cycle settles, attention is already turning toward 2027. The APC's early mobilization drive is gaining momentum nationwide, but is it a strategic masterstroke of political organization or a sign of rising anxiety within the ruling party?
All right, today on Daybreak Live, we unpack the politics behind the headlines, the strategy behind the statements, and what it all means for Nigeria's democratic future.
Coming up, the Weather Outlook and a comprehensive news update, followed by newspaper analysis with public affairs analyst Honorable Omolaja Olawi.
And later, our big story conversation on the 2027 power chairs with APC aspirant Honorable Faisal Oluwakemi.
Nigeria is waking up, and so are the politics.
Stay with us. This is Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television, a channel of choice. Let's get right into it this morning.
Definitely. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Yemi. And it's a bright new morning. Quite chilly out there, but then you know, with a cup of coffee, you are good to go.
Definitely.
But then, as for Nigeria's ever-changing landscape when it comes to politics, I think a cup of coffee might not actually do that.
No,
it's actual conversation that will set the tone for what is to happen.
Definitely.
And that's talking about the People's Democratic Party releasing a statement and saying, look, you are anti-people, especially with the new Electoral Act. And they're saying, look, this is not the will of the people. But the question is, did the PDP study the new Electoral Act from cover to cover to see what exactly is wrong? I'm of the opinion that in most cases, when you see the problem, provide the solution. It's not really about attacking the bodies who have actually done this. It's about you saying, look, we could have done it better. And people out there will really understand the fact that you have a point when you talk. It's not about accusation.
Yeah, you have a very good point. And then apart from even the PDP, I think quite a number of other persons, members of the ADC and even Nigerians themselves, they are complaining bitterly about this whole Electoral Act, the new Electoral Act. I think initially, the former electoral commissioner of INEC, that's Mike Igini, he came out, before the president actually signed the Electoral Act to say that, the president should not sign it. Because according to him, the president, is a man of history, the statesman. Of course, you understand that the people are not satisfied with this new Electoral Act. And then one more thing is, I think, ideally, before the president, because the president signed this Electoral Act before 24 hours, within that 24 hours frame, ideally the president has about 30 days window to look at this, and not just the president alone. The Attorney General should look at the document, about 120 pages or more. Should look at the document, peruse it, review it and things like that. And also the Minister of Finance should also have a look at it. Can we actually fund this? What these bodies have decided on, can we fund it?
What they are requesting for.
And what they are requesting for. Do we have the capacity to actually meet up to their demands? And then I think another body that should look at it is INEC themselves. I mean, those that are in charge should look at the document to say, okay, fine, at the end of the day, all these that have been passed,
do we have the capacity
can
to
we
get this
actually
done?
follow it? Is this something that we can do? And then these are the people that should look at the document before the president should actually sign. But then, to the greatest surprise of so many Nigerians, the president signed this under 24 hours. So some are saying it is too fast, and why should the president sign it? And then just looking at what the PDP is saying, at the end of the day, it will take people that can actually look at the document, from the first page to the last page. Don't forget, one of the issues that caused problem, in the House, speaking about the House of Representatives, that was because, they were taking the clauses 10 at a time. And then some of the lawmakers were complaining, why should you take 10 clauses at a time? Can we not take
from
it
clause 1 to clause 10, say I.
Really?
And what they say really doesn't matter. It was busy, snapping the gavel against.
He moved on.
He was just moving on.
He moved moved on in a country that is democratic, maybe on paper alone, I don't know, but then it's a problem. So these are the issues now. INEC didn't have the chance. We don't know whether INEC had the chance to look at the document. We don't know whether the Minister of Finance had the chance to look at the document. Another problem, that some experts have been able to reel out is the fact that should, the election result be taken to court at the end of the day, we are not planning for that and we are not praying for that, And then now that the electronic transmission is with the manual transmission, should the election result be taken to court, which takes the hierarchy in court? If electronic transmission fails in some certain areas, which takes the hierarchy. So it is a problem on its own, but at the end of the day, according to Akpabio, that's the Senate president, he said whatever it is that they did, is in favor of majority of Nigerians. And then the minority who are complaining, they are politically motivated and they are just trying to cause trouble. That was what he said. But a lot of Nigerians are not agreeing with that statement to say that, okay, how will you say that a minority are those who are not satisfied with this? Because we saw the protest. And of course, people are still talking about the fact that, these people, they were tear gas and things like that. So at the end of the day, some Nigerians are now sitting. You need to check online to feel the pulse of the people. What is the essence of the protest? At the end of the day, they still went ahead with whatever it is that they wanted to do. It is a problem, really.
You see, people are beginning to, I think Gospel Akpabio, the Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is becoming gradually unpopular amongst the people. And that for me, is not good enough for his image, especially, you see, most of the times, you are just a tool in the hands of people who want you to get some things done. And it was really saddening to witness and, of course, see that video yesterday where the bill was to be passed and then clauses were being taken one after the other. And it was not just one, it was 10 clauses at the same time. I mean, how do you account for these clauses? I mean, how do you tell the people that you have actually gone through them? To me, it doesn't even seem like the House of Assembly read anything in that document. It was more or less like you have an assignment, make sure that it scales through the floor of the House, and then the president will sign as soon as possible.
Similar to take a bow and go, that happened during the screening of the ambassadors.
Right. And the question now is Nigeria on a free fall? Are we seeing a situation where someone will just come and say, this is what we want to do, whether you like it? And because what we saw from them was, whether you like it or not, this is what we are doing, and if you like protest from now till tomorrow, nobody really cares about your protest. I mean, if it comes to the worst, then we'll disperse you, whichever means we have to. And in a democratic setting, there are processes, there are things to be done. You rightly mentioned something about a document of that magnitude was signed under 24 hours by the president. Doesn't mean that he had the time, the whole 24 hours. I mean, that could be, let's say, about 12 hours of his time to read from cover to cover and say, look, I'm satisfied with what is here. Did the Attorney General of the Federation, did he have the time to read from cover to cover to see where there might be likely issues, especially when it comes to legal lacuna that might eventually come up, especially after the election? That is another thing. You rightly mentioned the Ministry of Finance. Did they check everything INEC requested for, especially when it comes to finance? That, we are sure that we can provide this. But I'm not surprised if an administration can come and say, look, any debt the NNPC is owing the federal government, we have written it off. The first question that should come on board is, where was the money in the first place? It looks to me like we have too much money and the problem is how to spend it. So we are quite cool with throwing it away. And we can, just recently, I think a pressure group came on board and said, look, there was a particular amount of money that was earmarked for INEC so year. Come and explain how this money was spent. Till today, nobody has said anything about that. So we can continue and complain about what is going on in the country. But the most important thing is we are leaving a particular clause out. And this is one of the most important things, which is accountability. Everyone has to be accountable. The president, for me, on this one, is not clean. He has to come out and tell us why he had to sign that under 24 hours. Because that's not the only bill that was sent to him. There are several other bills that has been on his table that some of them have not been signed till now. So where did you get it wrong that the president had to sign in less than 24 hours?
It's really very sad, actually, because even in the business world, creative world, if you are working with some partners and they give you maybe a document, let's say,
a proposal, for example.
Let's just say maybe 10 pages, not even 120. before you sign that document, because you
take
know
your time.
it has a lot to do with your life, your destiny, your money, your resources. Before you sign that document, you should take your time to go through it, peruse it. If you are not so knowledgeable about it, get people, get lawyers to help you interpret before you sign. But then, is it that some managers are asking, is it that the president, got familiar with the document before now?
Probably. Sometimes some you see members of House of Assembly or maybe a senator, taking a bill to the floor of the House and say, I have a proposition. Let's do I mean, someone just came out and said he wants 12 years single term for presidency for the sake of continuity. I mean, that for me looks absurd. Are you taking us back to where Nigerians already left? That for me is still something we are going to discuss on this show. But most importantly, we have gotten to that stage where Nigerians have woken up. They now understand what is going on around them, and everyone has to be on their toes. I must respect for some people who have actually come out to openly say someone somewhere is trying to push Nigeria to a stage where, I mean, it's just going to be a single party. But truly, it's more or less looking at it like it, because most governors now in Nigeria now, they are moving to the APC. And we are not even sure that before 2027, some of them are not even going to move. We are seeing the permutation and combination. And it's not even clear if some who are already in the APC will not leave. So
look at the opposition parties. They are battling with internal rankings. They don't even have time to maybe say they want to mobilize.
Some even said it was a deliberate attempt. I mean, when you are a strategist, you know exactly what to do. And the president said something which I hold there. It's still in my left palm recently.
They're in disarray. I remember.
I am happy they are in disarray. So that tells you how much of an effort is going on to make sure that other parties, they are not in in the right place. And it's obvious the PDP having their own issues, especially when you look at Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, the executive governor of Oyo State, and Nyesom Wike, on the other hand, of the minister of the FCT, they are loggerheads battling for the soul of the party. That I am sure might not really end before 2027. And even if it does, the time frame for them to prepare for an election is too short. And for the ADC, we still have some people in that party who I am quite sure will not step down for another. Rotimi Amechi wants to be president. Atiku Abubakar wants to be president. Peter Obi is there. And Atiku insisting that there's no consensus. We are going to the primaries. And Atiku has never lost a primary election. That tells you how difficult it is for Peter Obi to clinch a ticket in that party. And the moment he doesn't get a ticket, just like he does, he might likely move to another political party within the short time frame to see if he can actually, be the flag bearer of that political party. Okay. But will he favor him? That's another question.
Okay, on that, let me quickly mention this, because while I was reading the new Electoral Act, there's a new caveat that says that, initially, delegate to vote, during the primaries. But now, looking at the new Electoral Act, each party member has the right to vote in the primary. So it's going to be a little bit tough now that it's no longer about the delegate alone. So good luck. And then just to conclude,
I read forget the financial war chest. Atiku Abubakar is rich.
Exactly.
And he has the wherewithal to get that done.
I read an headline this morning and then the president is saying, if I have sinned, forgive me. I need someone to interpret that.
Well, maybe with time, Daniel Bwala and so many other people who are actually in charge of the media for the president will come out to say exactly what the president.
Oh, my analyst this morning.
Definitely. All right, that's the convenient point to take this particular one to Weather Report this morning, and will help you navigate through weather across the country today.